It's Mario Kart Double Dash Trivia featuring Pureheart1777 and Super64134. Hello everybody, this is Nintendo14. Welcome back to the year of Mario Karts. In the last part, we raced through the Star Cup, went over the 5 things I like about Mario Kart Wii, and now in this video we're going over some trivia from Mario Kart Double Dash. I would like to think that that game is a counterpart version of is like the you know the alternate version of this game, you know. So with me I have Todd and Gerald. Hello.
Good evening.
Hi.
This part we're not messing around. We're going straight for Funky and Flame Rider.
Oh. We're going to
Flame
ultimate
Rider.
loadout. Alright, let's see.
Yeah, why not? Might as well show it. I mean, we got I think this is like the first game where people realize, hey, you know, with all the internet and all that, it was pretty easy to find what's the best loadout for each game. This is the game I think in my eyes kicked it off. I mean, maybe a DS. If people searched hard enough, they could find that Dry Bones was the best character with the, I believe the bomber or the dry bomber, one of those one of those cups that have high acceleration. But enough about that. In this video we're going over a little trivia about Double Dash, which is eerily similar to this game, except there's no tag team. It's just that the game visually looks similar. But anyways, let's get to this first trivia, and that's I go a couple inches out of bounds and then I have to be put back onto the track. Sure. Anyways,
Come on.
yeah, that was probably the
You
most.
do bet?
That was the most BS part about this whole Grand Prix. Alright, anyways. The Game Boy Advance functionality was considered to be featured in Double Dash. And that's maybe you can use the Game Boy Advance for some sort of feature for Double Dash. I wonder what it could have been.
As for me, I don't really have any ideas of what it could have been.
Maybe
Hey, man.
for some way to transfer data, like a save file.
Maybe. I don't see that being too useful.
GameCube.
Maybe for something like if your GameCube breaks or whatever, you can get a new one. And there you go. Your save files in Game Boy Advance. That's the thing I can see it being used for.
Todd, do you want to add on to something or to add on that?
I don't think they'll be able to. I don't think Nintendo will be capable to do that.
I
But
don't think so.
I'm not too fond of transferring data with the GameCube and the Game Boy. All I know about it is the closest thing I can think of between the two is just the Game Boy player I own. But that doesn't make any sense to what we're discussing. So moving on.
Yeah. I guess not. Who would have known what Double Dash could have done with Game Boy Advance functionality? You know, like with Zelda 4 Swords and Dr. Mario and a couple other small titles on the GameCube
Like
that were
Metroid
able to
Prime.
connect. That were able to connect to the Game Boy Advance, like Metroid Prime. Yeah.
Yeah, that had some connectivity with Fusion, where you could get the Fusion suit, and you could play the original Metroid
Sweet.
on your big screen.
Alright, we're in the second track in the Leaf Cup. Let's move on here. Double Dash almost became the first game in the series to allow players to play as the same character. However, this was scrapped before the final version of the game. For some reason, you're not able to play as the same character, so we can't have, I don't know, 16 Marios racing around in one gameplay session.
Oh Jesus Lord,
That's-
now.
I can understand why that was cut out though, just to kill the confusion, just in case there was any. If everyone just playing
Yeah,
the
no,
same character.
it'd feel awkward, yeah, seeing that many Marios.
Oh,
think
speaking of low
that's-
tricks, just
Yeah,
did one.
that's my first
I was-
attempt at a short hop, but I don't think it works here.
No, it
At
does.
least I didn't.
It does.
At least I
You
didn't do
just,
it correctly.
You need timing, because it's dangerous on that track. But back to the topic at hand.
Yeah, you've been noticing that there's a better way to go about tricks, and I just haven't been doing that. That's because I'm not too familiar with it. I haven't had a lot of practice with it while I was recording all this, so I decided I don't need it.
Okay.
Anyways, about more about the playing the same character. That wasn't an option, I don't think, until DS, where you can do that in wireless multiplayer. But for like say local couch multiplayer, that would be through actually this game, if you use a glitch that is.
Yeah. I was just about to mention that actually.
Yeah. Forgot exactly how. Maybe you gotta select both characters, select it, and then deselect it, then back out the menu, and then when you go back in it, and they're both selected. Yeah.
Yep.
Then the whole process afterwards does feel a little bit weird, and that's the Mario or whatever character that you have highlighted for twice. They're sitting in different positions, based on what cart or vehicle you have.
Yeah.
As for the first time it officially made it so you're able to race with multiples, because Mario Kart 7 doesn't have local multiplayer, like with the consoles. It wasn't until Mario Kart 8 where you can officially choose multiple characters for local multiplayer.
Right.
Yeah.
Plays the same character. Took them a while, but the main reason they probably didn't add it is for confusion, so as mentioned before.
Yeah.
Oh,
It
I
doesn't.
never officially learned how local works for 7, even though I'm a huge fan of 7. But most of the people I played with already had the game, so it wasn't like that. It didn't never cross my mind.
Okay, so let's move on to the next trivia. In that, Double Dash has an unused icon and a trophy model for a reverse cup, implying that tracks were able to be raced on backwards. This was ultimately dropped in favor of the mirror mode, which was in Mario Kart 64, as it was much easier to program into the game.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, but the idea of reverse modes actually sounds very interesting to me.
Sure does.
Yeah.
It's something that can easily coincide with the mirror mode.
Yeah, it's very similar.
I mean, it works out with Ridge Racer.
Would have been the same, only just the name. It would still be mirrored.
What they would probably have to do for a lot of tracks is they would have to actually add some like new ramps or something.
Ramps.
Because on some tracks you can't like go up certain parts. Like if it's a high ramp, you can't exactly go up. So they'd have to add something for that.
They have to do something, especially for the Rainbow Road that has a lot of jumps and shoots. So yeah, they would have had to put in a lot more work if they were to have a reverse cup. Oh well, maybe Mario Kart 9 or some future Mario Kart title will have that, because I'd like to see reverse cup be there.
That would be a little confusing.
Yeah,
they'll always stick
the
with
naming.
the mirror mode concept. I don't think though. I know other games that have a reverse mode where the track can go backwards instead of going, the straight path. But Mario Kart, I highly doubt. The only thing you can think about that is battle mode in the original Mario Kart 8.
Yeah, he actually has a point on that.
Those are the only tracks in that game where
it
was able.
Battle mode, so I don't consider that actual Mario Kart
Actual racing
game, in my opinion.
Alright, so let's move on here. Next trivia. After completing a time trial run and are brought back to the option to retry, reselect characters and/or tracks, you can input LR, XY, XYZ, and they give you a series of letters and numbers that form into a code. This was used for a contest exclusively to Japan, and was merely left in the game unnoticed. You guys know that was a more unique code. Yeah, you can boot up your own copy, your own American copy, maybe European too, of Mario Kart Double Dash. You go finish a time trial run and do exactly that, and it's right there. Now, there's no real useful thing about it. It's only because of that contest in Japan, so we don't get that much out of it, outside of Japan.
There's no benefit to it.
I mean, it's still neat to see, but
yeah.
Yeah. They probably just got lazy and said, "Eh, we'll leave it in there." I don't think they'll ever notice. What do you know? People actually found it.
Maybe if you want to name your time trial that off the code that you put in no.
Oh.
No, this is a really minor thing about Double Dash that if you're hardcore enough, you'll find it. Anyways, we're gonna move on here. The next trivia. This and Mario Kart 64, Mario Kart Double Dash and Mario Kart 64, kind of coincidental since we're playing on DK Jungle Park, one of the Mario Kart 64 tracks. And that's Double Dash and 64 are tied for having the least amount of tracks available in a Mario Kart game, with only 16. The third least would go to Super Mario Kart with 20.
Yeah. That is true.
Man, Double Dash. All these, both it and 64, they're the more popular games, yet they have only 16 tracks.
They don't have too many. They don't have too many tracks in Double Dash. Well, there's 16 total, but in the newer games, they give more attention to the Super Nintendo versions, and I still don't understand why. I still even wonder why Super Nintendo Entertainment System Rainbow Road in 7 and 8.
I don't question.
It's been brought back in and Super Circuit, so there are 3 games that brought back the original Rainbow Road.
It's so overrated. I don't know why it's so.
As Nintendo doesn't.
Maybe after 7, yeah, it got a little old.
I mean, like
it was a great track. I enjoy it in all the games.
I mean, like maybe in the Super Circuit version, like not many people played that version, so they just brought it back for 7. I was like, that was alright. I do agree with Jack, man. I don't mind
back to the tracks from 64 and Double Dash. So I think if we were to talk benefits about having less tracks for those 2 games, is that we're able to get more time out of those 2 tracks. So I think in result of there being less tracks is that the tracks become more memorable. Like you're able to easily remember this track from 64 or Double Dash, and those tracks are able to flourish because of that. Because let's face it, how many popular tracks that you have from both Double Dash and 64?
A very little amount. Like I pretty much know most of the tracks off the bat. But, keeping it minimal.
I know every single track from my heart in Double Dash and 64. Because I played so many times as a kid.
Yeah, your best memories come from
a couple of my favorites from 64 were Wario Stadium, the one that has yet to be brought back, and
longest
DK Jungle Parkway was fun. As for Double Dash, I really enjoyed Waluigi Stadium.
DK Mountain.
What about Yoshi Circuit?
And Mushroom City.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, Mushroom City.
Luigi Circuit, that was also fun. There's a long straightaway there in the corners and all that.
What the hell is Mushroom City? That one's such a good one, but they have not brought that back. That's what I'm pissed off about.
Yeah, they have yet to do so.
Yep.
Give or take.
Instead, they brought back Shroom Ridge and DS.
Yeah.
No, Mushroom Ridge.
Yeah.
Not Shroom
Ridge and.
However, that one should return as well.
Alright, so let's move on to this. Let's squeeze in another trivia, if we don't mind. Because we're in the results screen right now. And that's, there are 11 characters that make their Mario Kart debut in Double Dash, the second most in the series. Mario Kart 8 has 14 newcomers, including all the DLC. This game, as well, I think this might be the third most in new characters. Because there's a lot of new characters for this game, but yeah. Double Dash has 11 new characters that debut in for the Mario Kart series.
It's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot of unlock.
I think what makes it easy is that the tag team mechanic. They need extra characters, so they mustered as many characters as they could from the Mario Kart universe. So that's the reason why Double Dash had so many.
It's Toadet's first appearance too.
Yeah.
And from there on, since there were 12 characters in the Wii version, it made more. There were more. How can I put it this way? There was,
More variety.
yeah.
All right, so
Besides
that's all the trivia that I got. We're done with the Leaf Cup. Now we're going into the fourth quarter of Mario Kart Wii. We're going to be going to the final set of new tracks for Mario Kart Wii in the Special Cup. Gerald, Todd, thanks for being here
Yeah,
for
welcome.
the trivia of Mario Kart Double Dash. And now I must flutter off by myself and get ready for this Special Cup this Tuesday.
Good luck with that.
Have
So-
fun with Moonview Highway. I'm going to
Till then-
tell.
Oh boy, I sure will. So till then, we'll see you guys later.
Bye.
Good night, everybody.